Just a little forward before we get into this high octane content. Our media empire is growing daily, and we have only our family, friends, old and new, and the love of our supporters to thank for this upward trajectory. For everyone listening, it helps us tremendously when you do all the things that allow you to keep getting this great content. On Spotify, Apple Music, and Prime, follow our podcast and leave a rating. On YouTube, like and subscribe. Click the notification bell and leave a comment telling us how great we're doing. Or, if you have it, constructive criticism. Improvement is positive. Again, without you all, none of this is possible. So, from the bottom of my heart, I want to say thank you and give my promise to keep the entertainment coming. Now, let's get started with your regularly scheduled program. We want to take a moment to welcome everyone to the Watch This Shit podcast. You could have been anywhere in the world, but you're here with us. My name is Seneca, the movie professor, and I was supposed to have my collaborator and cooperator here, young Sam, but he missed the bus. In his stead, we have our series antagonist, Jkim. Go ahead and introduce yourself to our good listeners.
Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Jkim. I have my bus pass. I did make the bus today. Um, Thank you again for allowing me to talk about some good cinema, good television shows.
Uh-huh.
Appreciate
For real, it's good to have you back, homie. I didn't
appreciate
say it last time because you was acting so crazy,
it.
but I thank you for coming through and talking film and television with me. Without further ado, let's get it popping.
Yes,
With
sir.
this podcast, we're going to give you the definitive decision on whether you should go view a new movie release or not. It's real easy. If we say, watch this shit, stop what you're doing, and enjoy some good cinema. If we say, don't watch this shit, avoid it as you would dropping a lightsaber vertically. Or
Mm.
don't, you can do what you want. It may be fun, or maybe the reason you destroy our planet. You don't want to listen to us, you put your life in your own hands. Today, we got a special treat for you. Disney Plus has really they have really been trying to recapture that Star Wars magic. For some reason, the elements aren't adding up. Kathleen Kennedy's vision of the Force is female, Dave Filoni and John Favreau steering the ship in two directions at once, the loud and toxic fan base, the actors bashing the property as well as said toxic fan base, the deletion and reinsertion of classic lore points, but change for the worse. I think we just uncovered why this shit is failing. Star Wars used to be what all other franchises aspired to be. There was a real hype behind every entry in the series. It lived rent free in the minds of every person with a shred of imagination. I can't tell you how many times I personally tried to move objects with the force. Probably less times than I've tried to force choke a nigga, but that's a different topic. Now, we are at the point where something is released and people are hesitant to get their hopes up. For every excellent Mandalorian, there's this counterpoint with the awful Boba Fett. The brilliance of Andor is then followed up by the stupidity of Obi-Wan. Personally, I think they're putting out too much material. One of the cool things about Star Wars was it didn't come around every day. Between Return of the Jedi and The Phantom Menace, there was 16 years. Because of that build-up, fans were camping out in front of the movie theaters just to get the very first showing. Now we're getting two or three Galaxy Far Far Away related offerings a year, and it's lost its specialness. Kind of like when Huey, Dewey, and Louie wish for Christmas every day. That shit was fun for a little bit, but eventually they wanted to do something else. J. Kim, do you feel like Star Wars is oversaturating itself, or does the problem lie elsewhere?
Mm, I think the problem lies elsewhere. Um, I kind of like what we are getting because I like to get a lot of content, but I think the problem is that there's a difference between quantity and there's a difference between quality.
I'm right there with you. A lot of this could be mitigated if they were putting out great or even decent programs. All that being said, we're going to review Rebels season 5. Oh, Ahsoka, you thought you were getting a show? That's cute. Get your ass in the background and fold your arms. Dave Filoni has a story to tell. They straight up played my girl. They Boba Fetted her. It was cool when it happened to Boba Fett because the show was so bad, switching to the Mandalorian season 2.5, it made sense. That's the only time that the show got exciting. But they didn't even give Ahsoka a chance to shine. The shit was disrespectful. J. Kim, I know you enjoyed Star Wars Rebels. Did you see the way they took over this damn show?
Yes. So I think we had discussed this, and there's a pattern. To be honest, I think that uh, something's going on with the executives, and they don't trust that the character really can do well on their own. And I believe Ahsoka, she has a lot of story, like that they can really focus on, but they've just decided to um either try to get people to watch Rebels by throwing this into Ahsoka,
Mhm,
or they're just scared that, maybe a female lead only just talking about maybe might not work. But if you do it right, then, you can see some beauty, you can see some magic. But, once again, here we are. Um, Dave not having someone, above him to,
mhm. Just tell 'em to cut that shit out.
yeah, say, hey, no, no, this
Yeah.
is not how we do it here. But yeah, yeah, that's my take on it. Once again, back to quantity over quality, and it's like sometimes you just gotta leave the story alone. Like let these guys do their thing, and you'll see where you can go from it. And I think the comics, everything else that we've seen, there's so much material you can tap into, but here they are trying to um, you know make their own narrative, and this is the content that we are given. So.
Yeah, yeah, well said. So, the reason I didn't like Rebels is because it sucked.
Mm,
I
mhm.
watched part of the first season and I immediately said,
Problem number
"Fuck this
one.
little baby bullshit."
Mm,
Problem number 1.
mhm.
Wu-Tang is for the kids. Star Wars is supposed to be for everybody. That's what ODB said. The worst part is they killed the amazing Clone Wars series for this dumb slapstick foolishness. The art style was changed to something cheaper to maintain. They showed the worst parts of following a child Jedi. Before I go too far down the rabbit hole, let me give our listeners a brief synopsis of this dumbass shit. I just want you to remember the show is called Ahsoka. Check out the synopsis. Ahsoka finds a Jedi relic that will produce a Google map of the galaxy leading to the planet that Ezra and Thrawn got sent to at the end of the Rebels animated series. Balin, the Dark Jedi, and his apprentice, whatever her name is, and a witch from Dothamir, but not one of the ones, the cool ones that look like Asajj Ventress, but just a regular ass woman with some eyeliner, seek out the Google map as well so that they can bring Thrawn back. For those of you that don't know, Thrawn is an amazing character that had a series of novels showcasing his strategic abilities as he had multiple battles with Luke Skywalker and his team. Now, erase all that shit because Kathleen said none of that is canon. You're gonna get what I what I give you, and you're gonna like it. Sabine Wren trained off screen with Ahsoka as her master for a short time in the Art of the Jedi. She gets the device and decodes it. Before she can do anything with the knowledge, the Dark Jedi apprentice comes and kicks her ass and stabs her clean with the lightsaber. Bye bye, Sabine. Nice no. Damn it. She's the main character in this show. She can't die? Wow. She immediately is revived and goes on a mission to track down the bad guys. In a plot twist, Sabine and the evil Jedi team up and use the Waze device to go to where their friends are. Sabine is technically a prisoner, but when Thrawn recognizes her, he allows her to leave and find Ezra, as even though they have both been trapped on this planet 10 whole ass years, he has not been able to find him. The greatest strategic mind in the entire Star Wars universe, folks. And he can't find one dude on a desolate planet. This is fucking stupid. Okay, let's move on. Sabine and Ezra reunite. Balin and his apprentice attack. They get away. They are pursued. Ahsoka finally catches up to them, and they go after Thrawn to stop him from traveling back to the regular galaxy area. They battle some more, they get separated again. Then Ezra sneaks aboard the ship, and he and Thrawn go back to where they were, while the other people that came to save them are either A, dead, or B, left stranded on the planet that they tried to save them from. What the fuck? J. Kim, did you notice I only said the title character's name 3 times during that long ass synopsis?
Yes. Yeah, so that story, and especially if you have not watched Rebels or you didn't appreciate Rebels, for them to do
Mhm.
this jump um, is gonna be tough to follow. And really, to be honest with you, the story of Ahsoka, man, it just kind of like, takes you over here and over there and over there. And it's like, ooh, okay, how can I follow when, I thought this was like an introduction story of Ahsoka, but then it becomes more about the rebels. Ahsoka seems like she's just along for the ride. So,
Exactly. All the major plot points and events happen around Sabine. What's
correct.
up with that
Yes,
shit?
yes,
This is Sabine.
right. That is correct. They could have actually just, be honest with you. Yeah, now that you say it, they should have made the story call it Sabine, or they should have called it
Uh-huh,
Rebels.
and have Ahsoka cameo.
Right,
Yeah, or call it Rebel Season 5,
right.
which is what it is.
And then come later with another
The worst part
Ahsoka. So,
exactly. The worst part is Rosario Dawson, Hello Nurse, that's my boo-boo.
mm,
She looks amazing as an adult Ahsoka Tano. The makeup tint, the head tentacle, all of it looks perfect. This is exactly how I would imagine a grown-ass Ahsoka to look. All the purists think that the voice actor that was on Clone Wars should have gotten the role, but all they need to do is do a side by side comparison of Dawson to Ashley Eckstein's little ass.
hmm,
Then they can check their racism at the door. Then they can compare the acting credits of each. If it was just the voice, then hell yeah, I would say give it to Eckstein. But this ain't animated. We need someone with the Hollywood look, and that's my girl all day.
mhm.
So what do they do with her? She is horrendously underutilized in the show that has her fucking name on it. Dave Filoni, his fear of giving Ahsoka any flaws is what holds the characters back. In Clone Wars, we got to see her make mistakes. She didn't always have the right answer. There were things she had to learn. Many times the things that she had to learn was not to trust the damn Jedi. Matter of fact, we was talking about this the other week. The Jedi Order is designed to fail. They have all these stupid ass rules that no one would willingly want to follow. That's why they indoctrinate them at a young age into their cult. You can't you can't raise any children, you can't get married, you can't have worldly possessions, and then you train these little motherfuckers in wielding two of the most dangerous tools. A sword made of pure heated plasma energy and the very essence of what creates everything in existence. Then you put them in constant wars for stars. That's the recipe for creating the greatest psycho killers ever. We talked about that Jedi training last week. What did you think of my assessment of the Jedi Order? Did I lie?
Oh man, the Jedi. I tell you, it's like I don't know. Sometimes it seems like they don't know what they're doing. To be honest with you, like,
Mhm.
I wish, like, to be honest, like they had someone that was really checking the Jedi Council because now that they're spread out and they're very thin, it's like everybody's making their own, indoctrine and saying you can do this and you can do that. But it's like, man, you went through the training and now you're just like, well, this is the pieces that I like and this is that I don't like. And it's I don't know. Uh it's kind of tough. It's kind of tough to really I know me for example, I mean in the show, man, Sabine didn't even get a chance to finish her training. And it's not slight to Ahsoka, but it's like, the training is all based off of feeling. And, they just like, oh, I don't know. Like, I think she has a chance to go to the dark side. We're like, no, listen, this is where the training comes in. Like, train that dark side out of them or continue to train them because, hey, who else do you have? Like, I don't know. It's kind of tough with that training, that they're giving them. And then the thing too is that I mean, it's on the fly training that they're doing. They're, usually you're supposed to go to some temple, some offshore place, do your training for a while,
They doing
come
it while
back.
the mission is in progress.
Man, while the mission is in progress, no, and no wonder. I mean, man, it's being, um, you know, uh, she goes, to fight, almost she's on her own, and because her training is very weak. I mean, and then two, thing that really gets me, and I know you can do both, but she's got the Mandalorian, changing and everything, and that way of her whole family, Sabine Wren and all that stuff, also all of that, and so she constantly goes back to shooting and doing all of these things, that way, and then she's trying to become worker of the force, and ooh, it's kind of tough. It's like
Mhm.
make your choice.
And I got a theory. Yeah, I got a theory on that. I'm gonna talk about it when I talk about our main character, Sabine. So Dave Filoni has a special place in his heart for the characters that he has created.
Mhm.
The only one he played weak was my nigga Cad Bane. They
Mm,
need to stop playing that badass like that and give him his own animated show. Justice for Cad. Okay, I'm gonna move on.
yeah, yeah, cool.
One character that he does give everything to is Sabine Wren. Even going so far as stealing another character's show and giving it to her. Like I said earlier, I didn't watch the entirety of Rebels, but I would hear about the things going on. You would tell me some stuff, I'd see the commercials, and I even caught some of the big episodes, like when Darth Maul and Vader came to visit.
Mhm.
At one point, Ring wielded the dark saber, which is reserved for the leader of the Mandalorians. And now, all of a sudden, off screen, she has become a Jedi apprentice. While it is cool to see the potential of a Mandalorian Jedi, that's the reason they did this so we could see the possibility of what Grogu could be when he comes to power. But it's too much to put on the shoulders of one character. Just giving a character access to the Force doesn't automatically make them cool. The actor, she is lovely and does what she is called to do. All the actors in this show do. The problem is the story and plot is slow and plotting. At one point, my wife looked me in the face and said, "Why is this so boring?"
Mhm.
Hey Kimbo, I already have a feeling of what you're gonna say, but how did you like any of the off-screen character progression of Sabine?
Mm. To be honest with you, you start off thinking that Sabine is gonna really, like after you're introduced into the whole thing in the first episode, you kind of think, okay, Sabine is gonna really be the focal point of the show because um, Ezra is gone and Rebels' focus point is on Ezra, but then,
And good riddance, by the way.
ooh, that's tough to say. But then, okay, so wait a minute, this is a show about Ahsoka. So why are we, putting and then so then now we're flip flopping and we're going back and forth. Okay, are we gonna give Ahsoka enough time? And then now we're giving, this to the people that are, trying to get Thrawn back. It's I don't know, it's like it's like they know they
Too
had
much
this
going
amount of
on.
episodes, but they only spent this amount of time. And then, you get the action and you're just like, oh, this is some good stuff. But then they flip and they go back to some of the boring stuff. And it's just, ooh,
Mhm.
like, can we really, man, can we focus on what we're going to do here? Because even like, I know a lot of people even said too that their favorite character, and I forgot his name, but he's like the robot. The robot, like, woo, he
Yeah,
was really giving some
yeah, I talk about him in
great wisdom
here.
too. So, but but
Probably the best character on the show.
see, a lot of people say that exactly. One of our buddies was saying that he really liked him too as well. And I mean, but he was giving a lot of great wisdom, and um, I don't know, like to the progression on the characters. I think kind of like got stuck a little bit because hey, we got to introduce Ezra too, because especially if you're not up to date watching Rebels, so
Right,
it's kind of tough.
and here we come. We right back. We back right back to the rebels aspect. Not only do we have Sabine and Ezra, also popping up is Hera, played
Hmm.
by Mary Elizabeth Winstead, Chopper, the crew's astromech,
Hmm.
and Hera and Kanan's green-haired son.
Hmm.
Let me get this shit out the way.
Hmm.
If you are whatever race you are, people listening, let's say you're Mexican and you have a baby with a Caucasian person. That baby is not going to have the skin the same color as one of you and then hair the same color as the other. That's fucking stupid. And this is a show with sentient robots. The pairing of a human and a Twi'lek gave birth to a child that is human but has green hair like the color of his mother's skin. I don't have to play. I don't have time to play with these niggas. That's some of the dumbest genealogy I've ever seen. Now let's give Chopper a little bit of this heat as well.
Mm,
Astromechs typically hang out on the outside of spacefaring vehicles, running diagnostics and performing repairs as needed during battles or mid-flight. This fucking droid used his little claw arms attached to his head to fling a tracking device on a ship while both vehicles were flying at supersonic speeds, fast enough to pierce the atmosphere of a planet that's probably as dense as the Earth. This is this is not how physics or logic work at all. These are the type of things that completely take me out of the narrative. The story's supposed to be escapism, but now you bring me back to the real world with these stupid situations. Damn near the whole cast of Rebels is here, and they are heavily featured, which is why I call it Rebels Season 5.
mhm.
The only one that isn't represented is the big purple dude. I don't remember his name, but he popped up in season 2 of The Mandalorian, I believe. If they were just featured, cameos, or maybe hung out for like one mission, it wouldn't be such a big deal for me. But these motherfuckers didn't even give Rosario a chance to rock her own show. At least Boba Fett, he had 6 whole episodes worth of chances to get his rhythm. He never found it. And that's why it was good that Mando and Grogu came to visit. But this shit here, ugh. Jkim, out of all the Star Wars series that we've seen so far, how does this one rate amongst the other ones to you?
Mm. Purple guy that you're looking, name was Zeb. You know,
Zeb.
Zeb. Yeah,
There you go.
he's a real good character, but they, they didn't really get too much into his background, even in Rebels. And I'm surprised he actually wasn't in on this one too, as they're introducing the whole Rebels cast in Ahsoka's show.
Mm,
But hmm,
everybody.
everybody,
I do know where he came from though. I
right?
mean, in the real world. He was
Okay.
the first design that they was gonna use for Chewbacca.
Hmm.
So he was like the initial art for Chewbacca before they changed him into a big giant were monkey thing.
Oh, so maybe what we're saying is that there's a checklist of characters that come from Clone Wars and all Star Wars, and so
Mhm,
if it's not a
mhm.
Wookiee, it's this guy, huh? Okay,
Yeah,
gotcha. So
exactly.
they had, so Filoni had to take care of that checklist. Okay, but
Uh-huh.
yeah, I think maybe he got replaced by a robot on this one, maybe because the robot was way more, and I think that was a good choice. But mm, yeah, I mean, once again, the show, it's all over the place. There's no consistency on what they're trying to do. And I think, because what's sad about it is that I don't like that with these Disney shows, they only want to give you 8 episodes. Okay. Like, I mean, can we get, as much as you guys can, I know money is a big thing, but I mean, man, hey, I'm already paying what, almost close to $20 for Disney Plus. Can I get
A month, yeah,
can I
mhm,
get more content? Because I mean, I think sometimes we're only getting like 3 shows a year, maybe, on different things. But
mhm,
it's like, just go all in and let's take our time, to really do the story right. I mean, once again, let's go back to what Sin is saying. Let's come on, let me get this about Ahsoka. If you want to do Rebels season, then do that.
and that's what they did.
Do that because I mean,
Yeah, do that next, do that next.
yeah, yeah, because I mean, you're doing Rebels actually injustice because the whole ending of Rebels is Thrawn and Ezra being transported to this world, and now here you are, you're throwing it in just for a couple episodes of introduction, and then you're saying this is what's happened, and then but you we're trying to get to the story of Ahsoka, but I don't know, man.
Right,
It's tough, and I'm thankful for the content, but I just want more, and I think that's really
gotta do better.
they got to do better. Yeah.
Yep, and you brought up Thrawn. So Grand Admiral Thrawn is an immense threat
Mm,
created by the novel of Timothy Zahn. He was cunning, clever, and crafty. His planning is what made him so dangerous. He would learn his enemies' patterns and
mhm.
use that knowledge to predict how they would react in any scenario. By doing that, and by using a species that feeds on the living force, he was able to be a formidable foe for even Luke Skywalker in his prime. This guy was positioned as the heir to the empire in an organization where racism was very prevalent. Even with this dude, him being a blue skinned alien species, he was able to climb to one of the highest ranks that one could achieve. For all intents and purposes, he's a badass. So, what does he do on this show? Stand around with his hands behind his back, waiting for other people to take action. Nothing wrong with playing the long game. Waiting on an opponent to make a mistake and then hitting them with a counterpunch is a solid strategy. The problem is when an antagonist, one that is supposed to be so dangerous, is just sitting around waiting for things to happen. uh, this motherfucker really hung out on the planet for 10 years and didn't have any agency on getting back to his galaxy. Even if that was impossible, which I'm still not sure it was, he didn't even try to hunt down his enemy that was on the same planet and was the cause of him being thrown into this uninhabited galaxy. Jkim, I know you like Rebels. I'm I'm guessing he was a different character than the one I read about in the novels, but can you clear up why he's so useless in this story?
It's very interesting when you say that because they in Rebels, they made him this strong character, and like you were saying, he was very, calculating, and he would let them win on certain things just to see how they would react, on certain things like that. But then it's like, here we are in Ahsoka's story, and to be honest, to see him sitting there and to be really, looking so weak, and they're, making the other
Passive.
characters like strong and everything, and I mean, man, like once again, like you said too, for them to be sitting on that planet and really not doing anything to Ezra, that's very
That's
interesting.
crazy.
But I think also too, I think somewhat in Rebels, he was very surprised that Ezra had came along and did what he did because there is character development in Rebels, the whole season 1 through 4, and Ezra does become quote unquote, like you said, a badass, and but you don't really see this in Ahsoka too as well to go to Ezra. But I think the male lead characters, they're just, and I don't know if this is a switch in cinema or whatever in the industry.
No, that's Kathleen Kennedy. Like I told you,
Mm,
she said the force is female, and she meant it.
that did she say that? Force is female. Oh, okay.
She
Well,
said the force is female. She said that at Comic-Con maybe right before Force Awakens came out.
mhm, yeah,
Yeah, somewhere during that time frame.
that's kind of crazy. And so I don't know. I mean, like they have made these because I mean, man, um, also uh, his um his fighting too is something that they didn't show in Ahsoka. Maybe they're gonna show it later on or whatever. But he's pretty good at what he does. Like he can,
I hope they don't show it. I hope he don't come back. I'm good on Ezra.
oh no,
Forever.
I'm talking about Thrawn.
Oh, okay, okay.
Thrawn's
Yeah, ugh.
fighting is like they showed it a little bit in Rebels, and he can really,
Mhm.
go toe to toe. He went toe to toe with Caleb, who is Ezra's mentor, but also his
Master.
master,
Mhm.
who was teaching him and everything. And um, it sucks that that Caleb did go blind, um, and because of Maul doing what he did. But
Yeah.
it would have been a better fight. But Thrawn is a really good, fighter, and for him to just have his hands behind his back, like, I mean, that's I know that's crazy, and then,
With that sour look on his face the whole
with the
time like
side, I
something
mean, man,
stink. Yeah,
because I think
and do nothing.
and do nothing. But I mean, I think he's also, I know in Rebels too, he really thought that he could win after he had learned everything, and they were just surprising him as much as they could. And I think too, with Ezra really just jumping on that ship, I think he kind of like just allowed that. Like I think he knew. That's the thing too that they they shined away from. He can predict things so well, and he knows when things are going to happen, and that's just because he studies so well, studies his opponent. But like I said, they didn't show this, and Ahsoka, and
Mm, not at all.
I mean, they showed some good fighting, but Thrawn,
Yeah.
he's a really good character, but not shown in this one.
And you bring it up You bringing up some great points, but that leads me to the next problem. There should not have to be prerequisite required material that you need to get into before watching a show. A person can't just jump into the series. I'm dude, I'm sitting there with my wife who has never watched and will never watch Rebels.
Mhm,
I saw her face. She looked like she was totally lost.
mhm,
The only character that she liked was the best character, which was Huang, the Jedi training droid.
yeah.
A person that is not deep into lore of Star Wars won't get anything out of this show. The only reason you fuck with it is because you love Rebels. Anyone else won't like it. Every movie or show should be accessible for new viewers to jump in and become fans. The Star Wars fan base is so divided right now on anything that comes out. Disney can't depend on them to sustain this property. You have to find a way to get new people invested. Mandalorian season 1 did a great job of this. I seen so many baby Yodas from people that have never even seen Star Wars before that. They had a hook to get people in the door. Then they could still put in little Easter eggs for long time watchers, but you didn't need to watch 4 seasons of a boring ass show just to be
Mm.
able to enjoy the new material. Do you see I know we disagree on that, but do you at least see how what they're doing alienates potential new fans from getting into the series?
Well, I'm kind of confused sometimes too. I don't know if they're kind of like trying to do this because they want you to go back and watch Rebels, so then you could be like, oh,
But nobody's
aha.
gonna do
But
that.
yeah, I mean, yeah, I mean, Rebels is nowhere close to Clone. Um, it's no, I mean,
Clone Wars at all. Not
nowhere
even
close to
close.
it. And I mean, when you watch it, yeah, the first season, you're seeing that, it is kind of kiddie. But if you look at a lot of the shows that have come out, I mean, they've been towards the younger generation because they probably are the ones that actually still watching this stuff. But as far as like to go to adult cinema and to now watch Ahsoka, um, and then you're kind of trying to figure out, well, why did this happen? Why did this happen? And it's like they're like sitting there with their left hand. Well, we've got Rebels here. Go watch that.
Mm, mm-mm.
And I mean, but if you look
No,
at
no, I'm good.
but Ahsoka has made a lot of cameos. She made cameos in in
Mandalorian.
Mandalorian,
Mhm.
and but it's
Uh-huh.
something when
And
you
Rebels.
saw that I think it was just like them trying to see what the audience is thinking, but and if there really room for a show about Ahsoka, it was like yes, there is. We're waiting for it, and we're still waiting for it.
Yeah.
Because I mean, like I mean, it's we got a nice sample size of it with 8 seasons, but really, to be honest with you, you can really sum all that up what they gave us into like 2 seasons of of Ahsoka. I mean, they like a lot of people really don't even know that she's not even in. Now that's interesting. Ooh, let's go to that just for a second. She is not even in the whole Jedi Council at this time. What we fail to forget is Ahsoka turned her back on everything, but now she's
She left.
training
She left the
people.
Jedi. Yep.
She's training
Mhm.
people,
Mhm.
so it's like
How?
it's
She
like
didn't even finish her training.
boom. He still has a master, and the master hasn't even got a chance to finish because he went to the dark side. Spoiler, if you haven't got it together and watched everything,
Yeah, well,
But I
everybody know
and
that
then
everybody know Vader.
you'll see this also too with Ezra. Ezra never finished his training. Sabine never finished her training, and now we have to depend on all of these people to
We got a group
save
of Jedi dropouts that's
Jedi.
trying to keep keep the code alive. These motherfuckers, hey, they got Jedi GEDs
Mm, man,
trying to teach a professor trying to be professors at the Jedi
boy.
school.
And
That's stupid.
and then you go and if like just to finally go a little bit more, and especially too if you do watch Rebels, and you bring Ezra to fight Vader, and Vader's looking at them like, "Are you serious? Like, please, I do one force push on you, and then I haven't even unlocked any of the other stuff." It's like you're no worthy opponent, and the only worthy opponent is Ahsoka, and she's still getting her butt whooped because she hasn't finished her training. And they're also, if you look
Mhm.
at it too, they're also still looking at old training manuals and stuff that
Yeah.
Anakin created
Right. The dude that has far surpassed what he was when he made that.
And then you come to find out it's like, why are they having problems fighting these they're I forgot what Vader he made their like I forgot what they call them. They're like his henchmen that now they do his dirty
The
work.
acolytes?
No. Like
Oh, the
the
Inquisitors.
Inquisitors. Boom, thank you.
Yep.
The Inquisitors are like steps ahead of Ezra, steps ahead of Sabine. Their steps, well, I mean, some of them are like, at the tip of Ahsoka, but Ahsoka is just, she's just, bad on her own and she can just, kill. But,
Mhm.
you know, they have the updated training that Anakin slash, Vader. So I don't
Vader,
know.
yeah,
If they would
that has
just,
perfected.
if they would just spend their time correctly, I mean, because, you know, training is essential, in anything, in cinema, in Star Wars, in your day to day, you have to have training in order to do things right. You just can't come in and boom, you're successfully able to run a company. No, there's steps. So, and I'm not trying to go any further off of that, but I mean, man, they've done a total injustice to this show, to Star Wars, and to their fans. But it is what we have because it's been sold. So,
Hey, listen, I'm telling you, bruh, if they don't change up how they're maneuvering, this franchise is going to die.
going into that. Ooh,
Look at a show. Look at it. Yeah, I'm serious, man. Look at a show like GMV. It takes place in the same world as The Boys,
mm,
but you don't have to watch The Boys to understand where the characters in the show came from.
right.
Now, I have my issues with GMV. We'll discuss that after the season concludes.
Hmm.
But as far as setup, building, character arcs, contained stories, it's doing all those things at a high level.
Hmm.
Star Wars can't always say that. It's really a shame because I really love Star Wars as an idea. My thing is, they are over explaining away all the intrigue of their property. Space whales are the reason that people know how to travel in hyperspace. That's something that we never needed to know the answer to. And now that we know the answer to the question, it brings up problems with the narrative that they're telling us. So the space whales were studied, and their techniques are what powers hyperdrives, allowing people to move through space at great distances at high rates of speed. These whales had no issue traveling from the main stories where the area where the main stories take place, all the way to where Thrawn and Ezra landed. So, by the transitive property of that being the same fucking thing, why can't they just drive the damn ships that already have the space whale technology over there? If they would have never explained that shit, they could have just said the destination was unknown, and that's why they couldn't go pick them niggas up before now. Jkim, go ahead and defend midi-chlorians and space whales so that you can lose all of your credibility as a Star Wars fan.
Oh no, I'm not gonna do it. But it's interesting, that you talk about that, and I can't remember exactly what the secret the creatures that they allow to navigate them to this planet. But at some point, they're trying to say that Ezra is so powerful too that he's the only one that can really do all of this to get them over there. But really, to be honest, it's the creature that actually does it. But I mean, Um, I don't know if they're trying to set this up to whatever and they're trying to do. But I think too also they had no navigation on how to get there.
Mm.
And the only reason that they're, I don't know, they figured it out. And what's interesting too,
They got there. They
that
got
they
there.
got
They
there.
must have figured it out.
They got there. And it's interesting that they let Ezra get on that ship, and they're saying that he's the only one. But then it's like, no, Ahsoka, she can do it because she had contact, because of the Force and all of this, and oh, it's that whole
Mm.
midichlorian thing too as well. Oh,
Mm.
that's a tough
Which
subject
is
to
trash.
really get into because it's like, something wasn't here and now it is here. Like
Mhm.
science, we just
It's them trying to go away. Yeah, it's them trying to over-explain something by going away what the magical religious aspect of Star Wars was to try to make it more science-based, and that makes it less interesting.
yeah, I mean,
It
they're
takes the soul out of it.
yeah, all these different topics that they try to go into this and they just, bundle them into and everything. And it's just, I wonder if, man, if Lucas is actually just sitting back and just laughing while he collects that check. And I wonder if, to be honest with you, I wonder if they get him try to come back as a consultant because, like you said,
They need to.
Star Wars is on the brink of maybe dying. Now, there are some good shows that they have, decided to bring in, man, I love Bad Batch. I think you do too, but then it gets a little dry.
Mhm. Yeah.
But it's like,
Uh-huh. At certain
I think we
points.
were having a conversation. It's like, where are they gonna go? With these other offerings. I mean, are they gonna, what could they bring in next? But with this Ahsoka, ooh, let's see, Mandalorian, Boba Fett, Ahsoka. Boba Fett and Ahsoka are starting to look the same. And it's going to be a point where maybe people don't want to watch that stuff. And I know me, I'm finding
Yeah.
myself going back. I mean, man, I'm on the first season of watching Clone Wars again because
Mhm.
it's
If you
very
take away what
entertaining.
makes the character cool if you take away what makes a character cool, people are going to reject it. All the people that used to like that character are gonna reject it.
Yeah.
And if it's not good, then new people aren't gonna wanna see it either.
Right.
So who are you pleasing?
And it's we talked about that too. I mean, man, not to get into a rant, but they did it to Boba Fett. Boba Fett, he
Mhm.
was,
Yeah.
he's a killer. I mean, even his mentor told him that he was a killer, as he died. Same thing with Thrawn.
Mhm.
Thrawn is what he is. You know, to be
Mhm.
honest, I would love to
Now we're getting the diet version.
I would love to be honest, give us the real version of Ahsoka and go back to when she was isolated. And, she just,
Right, exactly.
d
Those years when she was on her own.
man, and man, they touched on it a little bit in Clones where she, you know, is trying to decide if now, like, she's putting the lightsabers away, and now she's trying to find her a way of living. Man, and give
Yeah,
me some
that's
of
way
that.
more that sounds more interesting
You,
than what
you,
we saw today
because
or on this stupid series.
yeah, I mean, because she's getting introduced to Maul, Ventress, and now it seems like they're not doing any dark side stuff because they've been shunned by the people that they were working for, and now they're doing their own thing. Man, to be honest with you, go back to that, and now that's
Yep.
a story for Ahsoka. But because see, here we are, we're trying to get
Mhm.
all of these stories together, and we're trying to get people's interest to watch Rebels, and
Yeah.
you lose sight on the good stuff, and so
Yeah. Imma go ahead and tell them how I feel about it. On that note, I'm giving this the esteemed honor of falling into the "don't watch this shit" category. If you haven't noticed, I didn't even spend a whole lot of time talking about Ezra. That character was the main reason I hated Rebels. This portrayal, while older, did nothing to redeem the creation of this super annoying person. I really love Rosario Dawson as Ahsoka. I like Ray Stevenson as Balin. Rest in peace, little homie. I like the world. It looked more realistic than the bullshit they did in Obi-Wan and Boba Fett with them little bitty ass sets. But being better than bad doesn't make you good. I can't recommend this to anyone that wants to see Star Wars be better, and I definitely can't recommend it to anyone that doesn't even care about Star Wars to begin with. Kim, go ahead and give your final thoughts.
my final thought. Can we go right to watch it or don't watch it?
Yeah, that's what we're doing.
Okay. Because I know you didn't give yours yet, but
I did. I said, don't watch this shit.
you didn't say, oh, okay. Oh, you did say, okay. Don't watch this.
Yeah, I said, don't watch this shit.
All right. I'm gonna be honest with you.
What did you think I was gonna say?
Well, no, I knew you were gonna say don't watch this, but here's my thought. I'm gonna tell you like this. Go watch this. Because
Mm,
it's an offering, and but you have to watch Rebels in order to watch it to understand what you're
ooh,
getting
ooh.
to, and it's gonna be tough for you because yeah, that first season is tough. but you do start to see what Ezra can do, and I think that's really what the show. And then but you also see the mentorship between Ezra and um, Caleb,
Kanan.
because Caleb, well, his real name is Caleb, right? Because he changed his name so he could get away, from the Empire and everything, and whatever he was before. Because I mean, when we watch Rebels, Kanan is no longer really trying to be, anything as far as, a Jedi, because, he's very scared because he feels like he's alone. But he meets Ezra, and Ezra gets him back into the whole Force thing. But to get size, to go to say, should I watch Ahsoka? I say watch Ahsoka because later on in the show, we do get to see a little something from Ahsoka. And Ahsoka is a badass. Ahsoka does not play any
Mhm,
games
mhm,
when she fights. That is something that I love, because Ahsoka can really take on a lot. She's also a great a general in the making. If you watch it, you'll see at one point they're fighting the clones, and then they become dirt clones because they can't die. And she's telling, Ezra and Sabine what to do because the crap that they're doing is not working. And she's like, Sabine, use your gun. Ezra, use the force, lightsaber, go ahead and do all this stuff. Which is crazy because it's like they should already know this if they finish their training. But
mhm.
it's a beginning, something that we can see it. I know we're gonna get a second season and everything, but I say go watch it. But you gotta go watch Rebels in order to really understand Ahsoka. And so, I mean, that stinks, but that's just what you got to do. I mean, with these shows, you got to put in the time. And because I'm a fan of Star Wars and have, hope and I have patience, I'm going to say watch it because we do need the viewership in order for us to, get some more stuff. And maybe hopeful, thinking that because we are still in the infant stage of these now directors that fall off from George Lucas's team, they don't know what they're doing, and they need our viewership so that
Clearly.
they can get this correct. So
Mm-mm.
watch it, suffer through, some of the stuff as if
That's
seeing
crazy.
as Sin's wife,
That's
sat and
crazy.
she was like, "What is this? What are we doing?" And it's like you gotta do it because you know that's just part of the. I hate to say this, learning curve. That's something that your parents probably touch. It's like you gotta listen to such and such because it's part of the learning curve. In order to get to the beauty of everything you do. So yeah, watch this show. That's just because hey, I love Star Wars,
So
and yeah,
you told our listeners to go because I'm not gonna even start because I don't know how long Rebels is. I know it's 4 seasons.
four
It's what?
seasons, four
Maybe 20
seasons.
epi maybe 20 episodes?
Just watch it over again, and it's good. It's good, but
Yeah, okay, and it's
you
30 minutes per episode. So
yeah.
f and then after you finish that, watch 6 hours of a show for 15 minutes of goodness.
You can flip. You can do it.
What?
You can do it, and then
What? No, no,
well,
no,
because
no.
Rebels it leaves you with a cliffhanger, and
Okay, yeah, it does. It's answered in
and the
Ahsoka.
cliffhanger gets introduced into Ahsoka, and then you find out exactly what happens to Ezra, and find out
Yeah.
exactly what
You
happens
don't
to Thrawn too as
you don't
well.
care. You won't care. You won't care.
You don't care, but like this is the intro though. I mean, you never know what happens. Sometimes, you know, uh, the first of a movie or whatever is trash, and then the second one is better than the first part that we.
And then you
So
don't come back. You gotta get them straight out the gate. This is the thing that we used to say when I was in the army. You gotta get it right the first night because
you,
you don't know if you coming back or not.
you don't know if you're coming back or not, right? Which it could be death. You could you don't follow the training.
Uh-huh,
You don't
uh-huh,
follow the training.
exactly.
You ain't coming
Alright,
back.
people.
Go ahead though. I already know.
That was our review for this, stupid show.
Mm,
Um, but still, I thank you for listening to another episode of Watch This Shit. You come here for the realest take on new movies. So make sure you follow us so you're not left in the dark on whether you should check out a new movie or television release or not. We on YouTube now, so like and subscribe as well. You know you want this content. If you haven't seen this shit yet, go on about your life.
Mm.
Matter of fact, you're doing good. Damn, you're doing good. Check us out next time when we review Killers of the Flower Moon. And good day to you.